Hi guys, this is my August currently to read shelf. It's not quite August just yet. We are the 25th of July at the moment when I'm recording this. I've still got a book from my last shelf to finish, or to start even, which is the Night Book by Richard Madeley. So that's the only one from the previous shelf I've still got to finish. I've got a couple of other books that keep coming up on my Goodreads at the moment that I really want to read. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I know the third in the trilogy is out, or has just come out, so I kind of fancied reading it. And also fancied reading the Thousandth Floor. I forget the author now, but it's downstairs. And I fancy reading Ready Player One. These seem to be the books that keep popping up on my Goodreads at the moment that everyone else is reading. And I have them already, so I thought, well, I'll move them up, get them read, see what they're like. I think the Thousandth Floor is planned to be a trilogy. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's another one already out and it's on my wish list, I think. And if The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet isn't good, I don't need to get the rest of the trilogy. Last month was alright. I had the Terminator series, didn't go as well as I'd hoped. I've still got them. I'm going to try rereading them again. I don't think I was in the mood for them. I tried the one by S.M. Sterling and I also tried one of the other ones that was on that list, thinking maybe it's the author, maybe it's just a different book, and I couldn't get into either of them, but hopefully the next time around I'll be able to get into them. So this is the August to read shelf as it currently stands. There's a lot of, like, this shelf is all paperback. I don't know if this has been on a sub-shelf at some point, or if there's been a lot of 3 for 10s or 2 for 7s, or 2 for 7s from Tesco, 3 for 10s from Amazon. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but there's a lot here. There's a couple that I'm not 100% sure about at the moment, and I'll explain why when I get into them, but let's get into it just now. So the first book I've got is The Amber Shadows by Lucy Ribchester. Now, I think it's one of my friends that said she'd bought this and she was talking away about it, and then I looked it up and it sounded quite good. And I've either got it for quite cheap or something. Sounds quite good. It sounds like set during the Second World War and Bletchley Park as well. I know my dad has read a book or so, kind of more non-fiction about Bletchley Park. I don't really know too much about it myself. Hopefully this will be good. I quite like the cover. I like that font as well, and it's slightly embossed as well. And this mysterious figure against the lamplight. And then I've got these Atlantis trilogy by A.G. Riddle. Now, I read another of A.G. Riddle's books and it had so much promise. It was Departure, I think it was called, and it was such a brilliant, like, pull you in blurb, and I really had high hopes for it. But as a story, it just went nowhere. And I think I got these from Book People. I think I've got these in the right order, but the first one I think is the Atlantis Gene. The other two have 2 and 3 on the back of them. I don't know what initially intrigued me towards this. I have a feeling that I bought it around the same kind of time as Departure, and I've just gotten around to reading Departure first. I've maybe moved it up in the list because it sounded so good, which was a major regret at the time. And I think I've definitely skipped over these already. Kate Warner's in the first book as well, so obviously she's going to be continuing on. The third book compared to the other two is quite thin. This is The Atlantis World. That's those 3. So I'm not sure how good they'll be. I'm not feeling entirely confident, but I'm definitely going to give the first one a try, and if I can't get into it, then it's just going to go out because I don't have the room to keep putting off trilogies at the moment. Next one I've got is Andrea Begley's biography. Now, she was on The Voice, I think it was one of the earlier seasons. Still like will.i.am, Tom Jones. Was it Tom Jones in that one? Well, you remember, she was with Danny from the script. I forget his surname, I want to say Danny Dyer. It's not Danny Dyer, but you know who I'm meaning. Danny O'Donoghue, look, it's right there. Yeah, and Tom Jones. I really enjoyed her songs. Like, I thought she did really good versions, particularly her version of My Immortal. I don't think she could have possibly been, or anyone could have possibly been, more haunting than Amy Lee, but she did a fantastic version, and all of her songs were absolutely fantastic. And it was so funny, like, when she first came on, she didn't know if anyone had turned for her because she couldn't see. And she's such a brilliant singer, and I still follow her now. I've got her album, so I found this for quite cheap on Amazon, as you can see, so I thought I'd give it a go and see how good her writing was as well. And there's photos as well in here somewhere, she says, so that'll be quite a quick read, I think, but it'll be interesting to hear about obviously losing her eyesight and everything. So the next two I have is The One Real Thing and Every Little Thing by Samantha Young, both Hearts Boardwalk books. So I'm looking forward to these. So this is The One Real Thing. I think I've read all the On Dublin Street series. I have all of those, and I really enjoyed those, mainly because they were all based in and around Edinburgh, and I know where a lot of the streets are. I saw a cute thing where you can go with the individual books and get your photo taken at each street name, with like holding the book, so I'm still planning to do that at some point. And I do quite like her writing. She's got a very easy to read style of writing. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Nora Roberts. She's got a similar kind of style a wee bit. The way she writes and the way she keeps bringing in small characters but then expanding them in the next book's quite interesting that way. And I've got Three Wishes by Liane Moriarty now, or I don't know how to say her name. I keep saying it Moriarty, like character from Sherlock, but I don't think that's right. So I have Three Wishes by her. Now, I did find a duplicate book of this, so I've kept one and put the other one out. But I'm not having much success with Liane Moriarty, and I'm not sure why I started picking up her book, because they seem to keep popping up like every other shelf. I've tried a couple of others and they're just not grabbing me, and especially with Big Little Lies on TV and everything. I still haven't seen that, and I still haven't read that book either, as I'm sure I keep saying every time I bring up a Liane book. One of these days I'll need to find Big Little Lies and find out where it's gone and actually read it to see if it's any good or not, because if it's no good I'm not going to get the TV show, definitely. The next one we've got is The One We Fell in Love With by Paige Toon. Not actually read, or I don't think I've read any of her books before. I know she's always been like quite widely advertised. She comes across with a very kind of Marianne Keyes vibe, that whole like three characters. They're all going to be interlinked somehow. They're very formulaic at the moment. You pick up a lot of these books that have this on the back, like three different characters. I'm not sure now what appealed to me about this book. I did see another one of hers. I'm not sure if I've bought it or if it's on my wish list, but that sounded quite interesting. It had a kind of one day vibe about it, but I'll see what this one's like. Hopefully it's good and she's going to be an author I get into, because I think this will be the first one of hers I've tried. I've got Brooklyn by, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. It could be Colm, it could be, I'm not sure. I've actually seen the film of this and I didn't like the films. Why the book is suddenly coming up on my to read shelves, I don't know, but I don't know if the book will be better. I mean, it sounds good. That's the thing, it always sounds good, but I'm not sure if I just didn't like her or if I didn't like him, and he has another unpronounceable name, so I'm just not sure. I mean, it's quite a thin book, so if I can't get into it, it is definitely going out. This is from Tesco. And it's Nicholas Sparks 2x2. I like the cover of this. I think it's really cute. It's quite a thick book for Nicholas Sparks, though, I find. His books are normally about 3/4 of this. It sounds good as well. I mean, Nicholas Sparks does have that formula. He is sticking to his formula. I find them good when I do end up reading the books, but I do tend to put them off quite a bit as well. Kind of a bit like Nora Roberts. Now, sometimes they're just so formulaic that you can't read anymore. You have to be in that kind of easygoing mood to actually read these books sometimes. I've got Girls on Fire by Robin Wasserman, and I have no idea why I bought this. I cannot remember why or what intrigued me towards this book, and I know I've had it for quite a while now. Maybe it's something along the lines of Virgin Suicides, that kind of, bought used from Amazon, but intrigued me towards that, and perhaps the title, it sounds kind of interesting. And it's quite a simplistic cover with just the lassie lying in amongst the grass and then the flames coming up. Or well, looks like the bottom of the book's burnt. I'm not 100% sure about this one. I can't remember why I bought it now. I've got this one, I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This is another one author that seems to have sprung from nowhere at the moment, like C.L. Taylor. I've mentioned that name before, I know I have, and she seems to be the books, I've seen quite a few of her books now, or at least a couple. I think Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train have a lot to answer for. I wasn't particularly thrilled with either of those books or their respective films either, so I think this is a quick and easy cash in, hopping on the bandwagon. I've got First Touch by what I want to say is Laurelyn Paige, and it says it's sexier than Sylvia Day. Well, not quite sure I believe that. I find Sylvia Day is sexier than 50 Shades, or Sylvia Day is sexier than E.L. James, for instance. I do like 50 Shades, but I do have a slight more love for Sylvia Day, and she seems to be getting passed over for the kind of 50 Shades bandwagon at the moment. I don't get, like, Emily is convinced that Reeve knows something about Amber's disappearance. To discover the truth, Emily sets out to seduce him. How is that going to do anything? Hopefully it's not going to be another trilogy. And I know the Baird to You series, or Crossfired series, that ended up being like four or five books. Is up on a higher shelf there. And I loved them all, and I was really sad when the series came to an end. I just found it better, and she kind of went to places where E.L. James did not. I've got Sealed with a Kiss by Rachel Lucas, and this is another one I don't remember buying. Oh, perhaps this was why. I don't think I've tried anything by Carol Matthews, and I've definitely tried something by Trisha Ashley. She always seems to come out with books at Christmas, I don't know why. That must be her niche. I think I've bought this because of Scotland, and it sounded quite interesting. It could have been in a 3 for 10, I'm not sure, 2 for 7. One of the deals. I don't think I've bought it alone. I've got Alice Bliss by Laura Harrington. I'm not sure if I've already tried this book and given up on it and then put it to one side. I didn't like The Postmistress. And I did like that book, Before I Die by Jenny Downham. But we'll see what that's like. It's another war book, and it's another, as they say, coming of age book. I quite like the cover. I'm not sounding too impressed with a lot of these books, am I? I'm thinking this will be a quick shelf. I've got The Choice by Samantha King. I'm really thinking these were in a 3 for 10, because I don't remember buying these. It sounds kind of intriguing, but it also sounds like a story that could just fall flat on its face as well. Why is she only allowed to save one of the twins? Then we've got In Bed with Anne Boleyn, a novel by Lacey Baldwin Smith. I love anything to do with kind of Tudors and Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII ever since I started reading Philippa Gregory, and it's kind of gone into Alison Weir, and anything really about Anne Boleyn. She fascinates me with what happened. Haven't heard of this author before. I've tried a couple of other Tudors books that aren't that great. There's been a couple, like there was one about, I can't remember the name of it, but oh, it's got a bit from Alison Weir in it. It was one about Catherine Howard, and I remember it being in the Richard and Judy book club a few years ago, and I remember getting it from work. I worked in WH Smith at the time, and it was so boring. I was so disappointed. I have Nod by Adrian Barnes, and I adore the cover of this. I think this is why I bought it. I liked the title and I liked the cover art on it. I mean, I know I don't cope without much sleep. Obviously, I don't know what would happen to me if I didn't get enough sleep. Like, I do still manage to function. But as this says, like, for 4 weeks the body will die. It sounds quite an intriguing plot line for a film, and I think I've bought this used as well. Do really like it, and I hope it's not going to be a complete letdown, because I do love the cover art. And I've got The Mountain Between Us, which is obviously the film tie-in cover here, and it's by Charles Martin. I thought that I was going to say Charles Frazier there for a second, and I was going to say, oh god, no. I tried Cold Mountain, and that was utter rubbish. And I know the film's out. It's either out or it's out soon on like DVD and Blu-ray, so I'm quite interested in seeing it. You can definitely see why it was turned into a film. It's just totally grabbing and enthralling. And hopefully it'll be a good book, and hopefully it'll be a good film as well. I think Kate and, is it Idris? Not sure how to pronounce his name, but they will both make a good job of this, hopefully. Got, speaking of Sylvia Day from a little bit ago, I've got Ask for It, which I think this is one of her historical novels. I've not really gotten into her historical novels. I tried another one. It was 7 Years to Sin, or yeah, 7 Years to Sin, I think it was. Wasn't that keen on it. I couldn't get into it, but I have put it to one side to try again at some point. An advert for the Crossfire series. I find all of her historical, well, all of her novels really have quite simplistic covers. They're quite eye-catching that way. Then I have The Lion Game by Sarah Shepherd, and I've not seen any of Pretty Little Liars. I'm quite possibly one of the only females in the world who has not seen Pretty Little Liars yet. Sounds kinda intriguing again. The twin sister that'll slip into her old life, so I do hope that'll be good. I like the cover art again of the half-face, clearly meant to be twins. I have the Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp, and I know there's a film of this. I've never been able to get for like a reasonable price, or it was never available in Love Film, but it's got that really annoying actress in it, Shailene Woodley. I don't know what it is, she really annoys me. It's got a bit of, the hell was the name of that film? Like, I will remember it as soon as I'm editing this back, but it's the film with Freddie Prinze Jr. and that other lassie, and he dolls her up and takes her to prom. Oh, it's so annoying, I can't remember the name of that film. That was a really good film, very like of the time, like it probably hasn't dated very well, but it has little aspects of that, I would say. I have Splintered by A.G. Howard. Now, about to say I thought these were self-published, but I know there's like a whole series, but they don't seem very cheap. They seem very more readily available on Kindle. And I know I've got a couple of other books similar to this, like by Cameron Jace. So hopefully this is good. And if it's good, I'll try and get the rest of the series on paperback, but if it's not good, it'll just be going out. I do like the cover art. I think that's what attracted me to it, and I think I'd seen a couple of the Cameron Jace books and added those to my wish list, and this was a recommendation off the back of that. But I do like her eye. I have Ashes by Ilsa J. Beck. If you love the Hunger Games, you'll love this. Well, my thoughts on the Hunger Games have been probably mentioned before now, probably in my Steelbook collection, but it started off good, and then the third book was just a complete and utter letdown. It's an Amazon Warehouse Deals book, so they thought they'd be clever and put the sticker right over the blurb there. And it's a sticker that doesn't want to peel off. There we go. I don't know, there's a lot of these kind of books at the moment going around. I read the Monument 14 series, that was really good, and I read those like in a handful of days basically because I just zipped right through them. I have The Book of a Dog's Purpose by W. Bruce Cameron, which obviously I've seen the film of and I've really enjoyed the film of it. I think this was in a deal on Amazon, which is why I've bought it. I think this will be quite good. I did love the film. I did think it was a really sweet film. I know W. Bruce Cameron has done other kind of spin-off books about dogs, so I think it's going to be like Street Cat Named Bob kind of series there. It's going to be a lot of similar books, but I think I'll just stick to this one at the moment, see what that's like. I've got The Promise of Amazing by Robin Constantine, and I really love the cover art of this. Like, that's basically me there. I'm always the short one in a relationship, except I've never known anyone to wear elbow patches who isn't an old man. I just love the way they're touching noses, almost like they're about to kiss and he's bending down to her. I really like that kind of cover art. You're going to fall in love with this romantic and scandalous read. Okay. I've not heard of her actually. Milnowski? Sarah Milanowski? Maybe, maybe not. The Things We Did and Probably Shouldn't Have. Never heard of it. Sounds kind of interesting. It sounds a bit like the Jennifer E. Smith stories, which I also like. I've read a couple of her books. But yeah, I think the main thing that attracted me to this was the cover art there. I really did like it. Hopefully we'll have an explanation as to why there's elbow patches. And then last but not least for this shelf is Way Down Dark by J.P. Smythe? The Australia trilogy. Terrific. I practically start with a trilogy. The Atlantis gene, and I'm finishing with a trilogy. Clyde's Firefly with Brother in the Land. I didn't like Firefly. I must be the only person who does not like Firefly. I did not get it. It's quite a thin first book, and I think it was, yeah, it was third party fulfilled by Amazon. It was one of those books where I had in my basket and didn't buy for so long, and it was like quite cheap, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off, so I'm kind of not confident why I didn't just buy it. I'm not sure. There was something that did intrigue me about it, and now I cannot figure out what intrigued me about it and why I bought it. So that is the end of my August to read shelf. I think the last time I uploaded was June. Last month wasn't too bad. I'm not sounding confident about this month at all. I think it's quite a few books that I've been putting off or have been on my shelf for so long that I don't remember why I bought them in the first place. So it should be interesting. And then I'm just kind of seeing my next shelf at the corner of my eye, and it's got a load of hardbacks on it, so this might be a quick shelf and then the next shelf might be a slow shelf. So we'll definitely see how this one goes. Obviously I still have a couple of books that I still want to read. Well, the Richard Madley book from the last shelf, and then I've kind of boosted a couple of other books up because I just want to read them, but I've already gone through that. I hope you like this video, and you like, if you've got any comments to make about any of the books on any of my currently reading shelves, please do so in the comments below, and I will do my usual. I'll put my ratings beside them as I read them, and I'll have them all linked down below if you're interested in any of the books as well. I normally just link them on Amazon, first place I go to for books normally. Obviously this is now turning into a regular series, and I'm quite enjoying filming it because it lets me see what books I've got coming up. It's also, I think, helping me if a book's not good. I'm just giving up on it now. There's literally so many books that I still need to read. I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're going to be doing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!